What's up guys, Unknown Game here, bringing you a new Let's Talk video. Today we're going to talk about Sony and their, I don't know, kind of dodgy business practices they've been doing quite a lot, like in this generation. But one of the main problems that people are having with Sony at the moment is not allowing crossplay or connecting accounts to Fortnite on the Switch or Xbox. I mean, if they're really like blocking accounts, like you can't, like Fortnite, it costs a lot of money if you want to like buy battle pass and all that stuff, and you're not able to transfer all them over. It sounds pretty stupid to me. Even look, I'm not a fan of like Fortnite or anything like that, but I mean losing all that progress just to play it on Switch isn't really worth it, I guess. Like, Sony just blocking accounts. I mean, I think you're only able to connect your account on PC, and that's pretty much it. And also, Microsoft and Nintendo brought out an advert. It's showing all this crossplay things, basically taking the mick out the whole Sony and crossplay situation. And that I think Microsoft and Nintendo are basically being a bit more consumer friendly with their products and all that stuff. Sony, they started off big. The PlayStation 4 was a massive success at the start, and then it started to, greed, I guess, started to come to them. I mean, I don't know who. I mean, apparently there's this old manager, well, not manager, but like a main CEO or president of PlayStation, and like an ex president, or forgot his name, but he said something about it's all about money and all that stuff. So I mean, they're not focused on the customers at all. They're not focused on like their consumers. They don't really care. They only care about the money, and that's basically it. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, you're an Xbox fanboy," but I mean, Microsoft back in the seventh generation, or was it eighth generation? I think it's the seventh generation with the Xbox 360. They weren't allowing crossplay or anything. It's basically the other way round. The most popular start getting greedy, and then the Xbox One came around. That was a massive failure. Basically, the same thing with the PlayStation 3. I mean, they started like failing, and they started acting pro-consumer just so they can get back up the charts again. And with the Xbox One as well, basically, I think Don Matrick, his name is, he pretty much made the whole Xbox industry fall and all that shit. And it was always online and DRM type stuff, and until Phil Spencer came in and fixed it up a bit, but the damage was already done. I mean, like when you compare it to the PlayStation 4, it's I was like, I don't know, 70 million units now. Fucking crazy. But what I'm trying to say is that Sony ain't really acting like the pro consumers that they were the PlayStation 3. Here's an example: Xbox One bringing out backwards compatibility, and basically Sony didn't really listen to the fans on that case because they never brung out backwards compatibility. But there is this thing called PlayStation Now, which is a multi-service of streaming games, but some people may not like that. Basically, PlayStation Now is basically just at the back of your system, just does nothing there, doesn't do anything. I mean, streaming is terrible for games anyway. It's utterly pointless. I mean, they also started to up the prices of like the PSN and all that stuff, and I mean, I think it was only in other countries. I think US was completely fine from price rises and shit like that. I don't know. I think over here in the UK we got a price rise, like there's a rise in price for PlayStation Now for some reason. I mean, I'm like, honestly, I'd play Xbox, so I honestly didn't give a shit at the time. But I was like, why are they doing that? You already have enough money as it is. But I mean, it feels like, look, their exclusives are great, like, but even that will not change what people will think of them in like the future. I mean, people think it's the most successful and best console ever, but in my mind, it isn't really the best console. It's basically a business, a business box. That's what I'm gonna call it, the business box. I mean, also, like Todd Howard has said about, like, it's kind of like a little cheeky nod to Sony about they're not being very helpful with crossplay. They, actually, they've never really been that healthy with like mods. I mean, mod support for Fallout 4 and consoles. They were never really in the swift of that, and I think they were just too scared of like mods that'll break people's systems. But I call bullshit on that because obviously I think it's called the GEC, what they called it, like Creation Club or whatever it's called. And basically, Bethesda usually monitors this stuff anyway, so Sony doesn't really have a thing to worry about. So, but then things started to happen, and then it started getting delayed a bunch of times, and it was a whole lot of horseshit for PlayStation players. They never really got to experience the full modding potential, really, because of Sony being too overprotective of the PlayStation 4. And they also rejected this like EA app, even though it was like optional. It's like they were fearing that like having EA, I think it's EA Access, like fearing that EA Access will take away from the PlayStation Now sales, which is stupid. I mean, it wouldn't even make a change. It was just an optional feature that players could have for more deals and all that stuff. So I think they really need to change like in the next generation, because if they're going to keep this up, people will start to really recognise the full extent on what they're doing. But other than that, they really need to sort this shit out. So I'm gonna leave the I'm gonna end it here. Um, sorry, I'm just I'm currently eating something right now, so it's fucking annoying to speak. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was a right pain in the ass to make, especially with a slow ass computer and its shitty ass editing software. I might get new bits editing software and that. And honestly, I feel I'm roasting right now. So like, subscribe, comment, and that's all I have to say. See you in the next video.